Pride. You guys ever hear that? I'm proud. I have pride in. Maybe your fathers told you that if you were lucky. Or some coaches along the way. It's not something that you get to have very often. Most people can only have it in one thing, which is their kids. Very common that you'll hear that expression, but try to think of something else that you have it. Bosses want you to have pride in your work, but do you? I mean, pride's something that's very hard to get. And I coached wrestling for a number of years. Every day, never missed a day. Now, this wasn't with a paycheck, and what I was giving back. People had given a skill to me. They taught me how to wrestle. I never paid those people. So instead of paying them, I paid them back. I took that skill, I passed to somebody else. It is what keeps wrestling afloat. I'm sure you can relate to that. But now I'm attached to those young men. Forever. For life. And when they go on and they have successes, I have pride. And it's a wonderful emotion. I mean, it is a wonderful emotion. And you don't get to have it very often. So I got a guy. Meet this kid when he's 11 years old. Tate Koenig is his name. Now, when I meet Tate Koenig, I met a winner. And there was another guy in our club who had founded the club named Keith Richardson. And Keith's son Kyle was this great big stud and a state finalist in college wrestling, all these different things. But Keith, aside from founding the All Phase Wrestling Club, was a football coach in town. Now, he just coached the little guys, but he took this with serious business. He was as serious about this football team as Kevin and I were about the wrestling. This was serious business. We're going to be here every day. We're going to go around the country. We're going to jump in the van, whatever we have to do. Get us to a tournament, get a registration field, get on a scale, and let's go. I mean, it was one of these things. It was one of these times in my life. But Keith would always tell me about Tate. And I finally come, hey, Keith, what's your deal with Tate? You're pretty big on him. What's he do? What's this kid do that I'm not seeing? I got 50 guys in the room. What's this guy doing that I keep hearing you paying him compliments? I said, yeah, you got to watch him. He's special. He's different. He has a different attitude. When you coach him and tell him things, he has a different attitude. Okay, great. Well, I start watching Tate. Now, in my whole life of coaching, those are not my friends. None of them. Ever will be my friend. I will be Coach Sonnen, and that is it. Until we part this earth. And not just when they grow up and they're men and I come to their wedding. I'm not your buddy. Except one guy. One guy somehow broke through to the friend club, and it's this kid named Tate. Now, Tate was just a winner. Period. He was happy all the time. He built his first car when he was 14. His dad gave him some broken down old Bronco. They live on property through Filbert. They're farmers. To drive the property, his dad told him, you're not going anywhere in that thing until you build a roll bar. Didn't tell him anything else. He's got to build a roll kit in case he tips this thing. He goes and gets the supplies, welds the whole thing in his free time. While going to school, while kicking everybody's butt in sport, and he raised pigs. I brought my meat from this kid. So he goes up to college and becomes the president of his fraternity. He's got something cool going every damn weekend. And the next thing you know, he becomes an inventor. This farmer becomes an inventor. He cut his finger. He's throwing a party on his back deck. Got burgers and he's slicing up cheese and he cuts his finger. So he decides he's going to develop a way to slice cheese more effectively. So he gets this prototype together. He gets on an airplane. He goes to China to set up manufacturing before it gets shipped to him, and he handles distribution and fulfillment. He's 28 years old at the time of this story. Oh, and by the way, he ends up on Shark Tank. So I want to talk about pride, right? So I got my guys on Shark Tank. And it's one of the most exciting things I got going. I mean, I didn't say a whole bunch of things to him, but I marked that on my calendar. Man, I cleared the schedule. I had people over. I was full. I was pumped up. He's going on Shark Tank, and they laughed at him. He was a young guy, and they believed in him. They were a lot like Keith Richardson. They saw something in him they didn't like, the cheese slicer. And you guys want to know why? You probably already guessed it. Because they already sell cheese and slices. There's just one of those things where Mark Cuban and Mr. Wonderful and companies go, I didn't know they sold blocks of cheese. He's got this wonderful invention. He just sells a ton of them. I mean, his guy's moving $1 million worth of product, but he goes back, he reinvents something else. So he gets to go on Shark Tank a second time. That was Friday. Just this last Friday, he goes on. Now, he's got the perfect pizza pack. That's what he's in there to present. So he walks onto stage, right? They laughed at him the last time he went. Now, I realize that that's still a big success that he made it, but imagine being home with your friends and family. You don't know what the edit's like. You don't know what that looks like. They not only don't buy your product, when you walk off the stage, these billionaires laugh at you. Didn't bother him in the least. Went out, created something else. Goes back to China, sets up new manufacturing. He's got the perfect pizza pack. Every single shark tried to buy it. They got in a bidding war. Now, one thing, when Tate left the first time with his cheese chopper, he built a relationship with Lori. Do you guys watch the show? But he built a relationship with Lori. Now, that was very simple. That she saw him in the hotel, came up and said, hey, I liked your presentation. I see you're young. I see you're vibrant. The idea is going to come. You learned how to do this. You learned how to manufacture. You learned how to raise money. You learned how to produce something. You learned about packaging. You learned about fulfillment. This just wasn't the idea. Keep working. You're going to be back. And so he stayed in contact with her. I think she was a big reason that he got to come back. But Lori made a proposal. Mr. Wonderful was trying to wiggle in on it. And Cuban says, I'll give you $1.5 million today. I own everything. We're not partners. I'm not buying a share. I'll write you a check today. You are a millionaire. But you no longer have this company. You no longer have these patents. They're now mine. Now, for the perfect pizza pack, right? And you guys have seen this problem. You've seen the problem where you get a pizza and sometimes you have one piece left over, but sometimes you have 5. What do you do with it? Do you take it out? Do you wrap it in tinfoil? Sure, that would be a fine answer. Or you just take the box. Now, it's going to be dry the next day, but it's easier to do, and you just leave it in the box. You come back, you microwave it. It doesn't taste the same, but this is what you do. Well, no, Tate created a container. And it works much like an accordion. If you have 1 piece, put it in there. If you have 5 pieces, it pulls up. If you have 8 pieces, it pulls up further. That's it. That's all they did. Everybody loves it. Everybody could use it. Everybody gets it. Cheap, shipped right to your door. I go to Amazon. So this is on Friday. He ends up doing a deal with Lori. 13% in exchange for $100,000. But I go and check it over the weekend. Right, I got to buy the cheese chopper. I got like 4 of these cheese choppers just in case he sees who ordered. I need him to know that old Coach Chael supports. And I got to go buy these pizza packs. I can't get one. It was the #1 kitchen gadget on all of Amazon. Now, I don't know what you have to do. I don't know how much commerce you have to do. But I know it's a lot. If you take over Amazon in any category for an hour, something's gone really well in your life. He had it for the week. He might still have it right now. I'd have to go look. The perfect pizza pack, I have to go look, but he had it for the whole weekend. That's my story. Very proud of this young man. He didn't take them laughing at him. He stayed motivated. He believed in himself. He got the job done. And now he has a deal. Multiple-time contestant on Shark Tank. And quite frankly, you want some inside scoop? I'm not sure it's his last time on Shark Tank.